In the darkness of failure, life can seem like heartbreaking and overwhelming beyond any kind of comprehension. Failure is a bitch. I have had my fair share of failure and loss to an extent that I can barely even explain to you guys. I've experienced so much failure in business, loss in business, especially through this whole pandemic situation. When my parents died, that was an extremely painful loss. When I've fallen into debt, when I borrowed money from a very dear friend of mine as an investor for my business and I couldn't pay her back, it was extremely embarrassing. When my wife and I became sober 7 years ago, we experienced a huge loss of social networking. The feelings are fucking awful. I mean, loneliness, feeling utterly alone, scared, embarrassment. You can feel little and small and insignificant. You can also experience levels of anger and rage that you never thought would come out of you. The feeling of betrayal and feeling of like you're isolated. You can even experience like shame and guilt. The amount of shame that I've experienced in business or guilt that I've experienced in business, it's overwhelming. Ultimately, it feels like your legs want to buckle underneath the weight and the pressure of life. I share all of this with you because I want to invite you to look at failure in just a little bit of a different way. Because there's something incredibly beautiful about loss and failure. For starters, you get to know who your true friends are. You get to know who your true fans are. You get to know who the ones that are kind of around your life to see you actually succeed, or are they like in your life just to snoop and waiting for you to fall and to fail and to land on your face. You get to see people's true character. And this is an important one, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, and that is you get to see what people really stand for and what their integrity really means and where their moral compass really is. But ultimately, the greatest gift from failure and loss, truly seeing where people are in your life, is that you've been given a gift of choice. And this is the most incredible gift from failure that you'll ever get. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, failure and loss, it's embarrassing as shit, and it can be extremely painful. But the beauty that comes from choice is something that comes very rare in a human's life. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt the podcast real quick because as I was editing the video, and yes, I do actually edit my videos on my podcast, I noticed that I was lacking a little bit of clarity in what I mean by the point that I'm trying to make in this episode. And I think that what I'm about to share with you is probably going to be the next episode. So if you want to dive a little bit deeper into it, stick around because I think I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this topic. What I mean by failure being an opportunity for choice, and it's a really rare thing in a human's life, it's because I'm referring to a social, spiritual, professional, personal opportunity to kind of make a decision of whether or not you're going to remain the person that you've always remained, or if you're going to choose to be somebody new. I just wanted to clarify that, and like I said, if you would like to go a little bit deeper into this, I think I'm going to stick around and record the next podcast going a little bit deeper into this conversation. So with that said, I'm going to let you get back to the current episode. Thank you again. See, let me explain. Before you experience failure and you land on your face and all the embarrassment and the public shame and the guilt and all those feelings I described earlier, you're kind of being given a superficial level of relationships. Everything's kind of on the surface. When life cuts you, when you land on your face and you fall from failure and you're embarrassed and you have loss, relationships have a tendency to be able to go much deeper at that point. See, before, you're kind of given everybody's social media highlight reel kind of superficial relationship. You're being duped into relationships. You're not getting the full context, the full spectrum of someone's character. It's easy to be manipulated in that relationship, and quite frankly, you're kind of being lied to. And this is where things get a little bit tricky, because if you don't have all the information, how can you really make an informed consent to enter into that relationship? You've just been bamboozled. You've been lied to. But now, experiencing loss and failure and a total uncovering of people's character, a total uncovering of people's true agenda and true motive of being in a relationship with you. Now you're empowered with choice. And this is where things get amazing. Now you can choose what you're going to tolerate. If you don't want to be in an unhealthy relationship, personally or professionally, you can just leave because you have the power of choice. And this is extremely important because this is the time of your life that you're never going to get back. So if you have the choice of knowing what you're going to invest your life in and what you're not, you've just been set free from this imprisoned relationship that was based upon lies and superficiality and nothing of actual substance and depth. But this is where the work really comes in. And this is what I want you to really focus your energy and attention on. We all have this vision of who we want to be and who we know that we truly are inside of our being, inside of our core. In our soul, we know who we were meant to become. Because now you know where people's true character is and where their true motive of being in a relationship with you actually lie. We now have a conscious choice, a responsibility to that vision of ourselves, that version of ourselves, that best version of ourselves. We have a choice now, a responsibility to choose one of two things. One step closer to who we were always meant to become, or one step further away. That's it. And this is an incredible opportunity for liberation and freedom. Because now, with all of the superficial relationships kind of out of their way, people showing their true colors, people showing their true integrity, people showing what they're truly supportive of and loyal to, now the path to that person that you want to become has become cleaned and widened and open, and it's become clearer. Now the responsibility is back on you. And this is where things get incredible because you now have it in your control to walk closer to the person that you were always meant to become. It's your choice now. Not based upon lies, not based upon manipulation, not based upon ulterior motives or agendas, nobody trying to reach into your pocket or into your heart and manipulate you or hurt you. You now know who you're playing with when you've experienced true loss and true failure. So the invitation is this: allow people to show you who they truly are. Allow yourself to fail publicly and horribly, and allow yourself to experience loss publicly. Let people show you who they truly are. It's your responsibility to pay attention. If you're experiencing any kind of loss or failure, feeling like a failure, feeling like you've lost everything, or you're having to start over again, open your eyes, take a look around, watch people's actions and behaviors. Pay attention to the people that are coming around to support you, even in your weakest moments. Because that will free up a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of bandwidth for you to start walking the path of who you were always meant to become. Yeah, death to who we always were is scary, and it's overwhelming, and it can be terrifying. But the death of who we always were and those relationships that we surrounded ourselves with, that death allows us to be born into who we were always meant to become. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm utterly grateful that you spent your time with me here. If you got any value out of today, if you know anybody that's experiencing any kind of failure or loss, I would really appreciate it if you could just share it with that person. Just from a place of love. Just give them something to refocus their energy and attention to. I would really appreciate it, and I know that they would really appreciate it. Or if you yourself are experiencing any kind of failure or loss, and you just need a little bit of a deeper dive into this topic, please do not hesitate to email me at hello@gentrypetzel.com. hello@gentrypetzel.com. I'll try to get through the questions as quickly as I can, and I'll answer them here on the podcast in the next episode. So with that said, thank you again for your time and attention. Please share this, like, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to this on your podcast platforms, please subscribe and follow as well. Put this on social media, tag me in it so I know who's actually paying attention. Also, if you're interested in diving in a little bit deeper into these kind of topics and these conversations, please visit my website at gentrypetzold.com. Subscribe to my newsletter. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be launching my membership training program, and I'm extremely excited about it. It's what I've been coaching for the past 20 years, but I'm going to finally offer it to the general public. And I would really love to be able to build a community of people that are willing to do their work, willing to look into accountability and cultural development. That's my specialty. That's where I'm at. That's what I love to teach. That's what I love to do. I've never done anything like this before, so we're going to give it a shot. But I would love to have people that are like fiercely devoted to their personal development joining, and so we can start building a community of people to really help support each other. So visit my website, gentrypetzold.com, fill out the newsletter form. I will send you a personal invite and then probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'd love to have you there. So with that said, you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next episode.